Google just open sourced a new language model that can make predictions just using your own raw text data. In this video, I'm going to show you how this new text-to-text regression model that is open source by Google Search works and how you can even fine-tune it for making regression models using your own raw text data that could be potentially much better than any traditional regression model. Let's check it out. So far, you have even never thought about having language models making predictions because maybe in language models in your mind are just some chatbots or AI agents that can do specific tasks with just generating tokens and text. But here, it's sort of a paradigm shift on how we can make prediction, here specifically regression model, using language models. So you might say, why do we need to do that? Because at some point, if you think about, in some use cases, our information or features that you want to predict a numeric value through regression is beyond just numbers. You might have text on unstructured documents that you cannot necessarily convert them to numbers and then train a traditional regression model. So that's the first issue. And then with having this approach, now you no longer need to do any further featureization or being forced to run some featureization steps to make numbers out of your training data, because this RegressLM, which Google Research actually released, they utilize that for an internal use case at Google that I'm going to talk about, and they were able to create or make numerical predictions with fine-tuning this encoder-decoder model, which refer that LM regressor. Before we dive into the model and see how we can use it, let's see how they ended up creating this model and how at Google Search they use that internally. So as they noted in the paper, if you follow my pointer, they said that they use this model for predicting resource efficiency on Borg, which is Google's massive compute cluster scheduling system. So to make it simple, they wanted to see if we can have a model to predict through regression how we can efficiently assign upcoming jobs to a given compute among these all massive compute clusters. So for doing so, they trained this 60 million parameter, which is pretty small. We can just simply run it on a single GPU for encoder-decoder trained from random initialization, achieve up to near perfect 0.99 rank correlation across the entire feed and 100x lower mean square error than tabular approaches. So they're clearly highlighting that when they benchmark this approach to make that prediction compared to traditional regression, they achieve much better results. Now, here's the nice part. The model also easily adapts to new tasks in only 500 few shot examples. That's the point that we can see based on this repo they release, if we could potentially use it for our own use cases to make predictions, or better to say, have your own regression model, but without featureization or without making sure that your data is numeric, with just using your raw text. To further understand this process, let's look at this nice diagram. So as you can see, again, for this example use case, they had lots of Google Compute Cluster logs that they couldn't necessarily just convert it to numbers. Look at this one. They can be like JSON or YAML file that include so many different features that there are time, number of users, assignment, and some of them are really nested. So there's no way that you can have a numeric representation of all this and making sure you're not losing any valuable information. So they just take the system log as text as is, and then they were able to train that LM-based regressor, and you can see that on the outcome, they were able to actually make predictions and even distribution of the predictions, because maybe model wants the model predict number 3 as a value, then 3.5, and then 4, and they begin predicting 3 again. So the frequency of how many times what numbers are predicted for a given input, we can see the distribution of the confidence based on the frequency, which outcome is the most probable and accurate prediction through this regression model, as has been plotted here. So now imagine if they wanted to use just traditional regression model, they should have come up with a tabular format like this, that they had to manually extract those metrics if it's possible to show them as a represented number. But as I told, they just took all those logs as is and keep it for training the model and making inferencing. So think about this. There might be some use cases like, for example, predicting the demand or potential dynamic pricing for a given product based on people reviews. I cannot really take people reviews as is for my training data set and convert that to numbers. You might say that, yes, MG, I can do sentiment analysis and provide a score on how positive or negative feedback is, but this is so lossy. You're going to lose a lot of context with just converting 4 or 5 lines of a customer review through just a number. So you can think about those scenarios that you can take this raw text as is for then making regression and making prediction. Now, for any training task that you do, you have to optimize something. Here we can optimize a loss function, which would be, you want to make sure what your model predict is as close as the real value. So instead of they using mean squared error, which is a typical thing that you do on regression, they wanted to optimize this training based on cross entropy loss. And they did it wisely because they didn't want to focus on the large different gaps between true value and predicted value because they are numeric. Instead, because they are predicting through tokens, they want to make sure that the confidence of the model on predicting true values are higher. So when we test the model, they are predicting tokens, which are numbers that are closer to the actual value. So let me give you an example. Here, for example, we have all those logs as a JSON format or customer reviews for a product in just text format. And then with having predictions, let's say we want to predict a numeric value for number of cells. Or here they wanted to see predicting the number of a metric that shows the compute efficiency to assign a new task. So this is the format they chose, which is an efficient format mentioned in the research literature that is efficient for making prediction using this RegressLM. So plus sign is start with plus sign that shows if your number is positive or negative. So when we give an input text, let's say logs, first we predict if it's a positive or negative outcome. Then after that, we have the first digit predicted. Then we have the second digit created. You know that there's a sequential token prediction that we are doing. And then that 5 is actually the digits that you want to go and put dots between. For example, this -1 here tells that after 7 and 2, put actually dot here because this is about 10 to the power of -1. The good news is that the model doesn't just give you one number for prediction. So you can have actually the distribution of predictions. To give you an example, let's say the true value that the model should predict is around this number. And here we have multiple times asking the model, and here we have list of predictions as a distribution. And we will see that around the true value, we have the highest frequent amount of model telling similar number as a prediction. So obviously, if the real value get changed, for example, the real value jump here, we're expecting the model to have make predictions more around this number. Now, within this approach, as they noted in the paper, comparing that with standard machine learning regression techniques, for example, random forest or multi-layer perceptron, they require the feature X to be represented as flat fixed length tensors, let's say numbers if you do one-hot encoding. So this is going to be difficult for certain prediction problems with highly non-tabular representations, like for example these compute cluster logs, which are raw text, or that customer review example. So they're mentioning that compressing these features only as numbers, which we do in traditional regression model, without much context can be highly lost. So not only with this approach, you're not going to lose a lot of context because you're taking the raw text as is, but also they noted that in this approach, they realized that with just some few shot adoption, they can use this pre-trained model to remain highly accurate, even on unseen compute clusters or scenarios. That means if you have this model being trained to make prediction with regression here, and you might have seen some unseen data sets that are maybe even far from your original training data, with just a couple of fine-tuning with few shot examples, they can be pretty still accurate even with the examples that are not that close to what they have seen in the training data. Also, there are more reasons that why do we need this text-based regression? Now think about this. In traditional approaches, when you have your featureization in a tabular format, you require a prior defining a finite number of classes per categorical parameters. So what does that mean? When you convert all these training data to numbers, let's say for predicting a product demand based on customer reviews, and I have converted anything to numbers, and one of the numeric values that I have is the country that the reviewer has posted that comment from. I have, let's say, number from 0 to 100, which are listed of 100 countries that people can put reviews. But suddenly there's a new country, not a new country, there's a country that is new in the training data. I didn't have that country type, and when I want to do one-hot encoding or any way to convert that to a number, I don't know what to put in because I was thinking that always review is going to be among one of those 100 countries. So you have to start all the process from scratch, because now there's a leakage and your model doesn't know what that new class of feature that you have in your training data, and then when you do inferencing. But with this approach, which is text-based regression, it's a flexible text-based input representation simply resolve this issue by allowing variable sequence length inputs, and does not require explicit enumeration of categorical features nor normalization of continuous ones. That means even if you have a new class for your features, it doesn't care. It's just a text. It's flexible enough that even your input text, which is your feature right now, the length of that can be also dynamic and can include new classes, new values, new text, even if this is something that the model has never seen within the training data. Here's an example they mentioned, for example, in their use case that we wanted to figure out which compute in their huge clusters is efficient to assign a task. This was their training data example. So they have a bunch of logs with just pure raw text, and you can see that on average, each section of the raw text has different length. For example, cell name has on average a 3 character count, a physical location, time window. These are information about that necessary compute cluster. And then even the whole string length of the raw text can be different, as you can see the distribution of a string length from 1K to 10 million. And they noted that as we make this length larger, the model can understand more context about this feature, so the model perform even better. Although we should put a limit, let's say they put limit of 8K length of tokens of this new raw text input, but they always train model in a way that we truncate after 8K, so make sure we understand everything from the beginning to put weights on more important information within the beginning of that raw text input, and then we truncate the less, and that 8K was just a threshold they specified. Obviously for your use case can be slightly different. Also, as we highlighted on purpose due to the reason that I talked about, they selected next token cross entropy as loss compared to traditional language model regression models that they use something like mean square error, and they note that for multiple reasons this is a much better optimization strategy compared to just MSE. Now you might think about, well, when we talk about language models, do we need to first teach them how to talk in English to be able to understand these logs or these texts that we're going to make predictions or create regression model? The answer is no. As they noted, despite the current trend of pre-training models on human generated text in English, it is not necessary nor guaranteed beneficial to use pre-trained LLMs checkpoint from which to train this regression model. That means no, you don't need to take a language model, some of the open source ones that they understand text or English or any language, to be able to make regressions, because now we have tokens as input, token as output. There is an encoder and decoder. Just finding the relation and training this model in a way that give us the best cross entropy is good enough to make regressions and then doing later on predictions. Now, when you train this model, you're not done. Even similar to standard LLM practices, this RegressLM also allows fine-tuning against additional data even after pre-training. So this serves actually two different purposes. First, you can adopt to new unseen regression tasks. That means if there are some new specific whole different type of raw text input, you can still adapt them without starting everything from scratch. And also you can refocus over previously seen tasks if the training data set was too large specifically, to make sure it is not biased. And here's a snapshot of the results. As you can see, based on what they predicted compared to the target, ideally we want to have everything aligned on this line, which is dotted black, but still it's pretty much close, following prediction close to the true value, which shows the prominent success of this approach for this specific regression use case they wanted to do on Google clusters. Here's also a different representation of the predictions. These blue highlighted regions are the areas that model predicted. Obviously, when the blue is darker like here, that means the frequency of having that number keep getting predicted by the model is higher, so we have more confidence. And these orange ones are the real values. So as the orange dots are closer to the darker side of this blue, that means the model did a greater job, which obviously it's following the pattern, and I would say almost close to all predicted values are encapsulating the real values. That means we are not really far. We had that predicted value within the range that was applying to the true value. All right, so now how we can use it for our own use cases. Luckily, they have released a GitHub repo that includes the model and the source code. So I will add the link of this GitHub repo to the Discord channel. The link of the channel is in the video description below. Go to the channel. There's a section or sub channel called reference section. When you go there, you will have the link of the video and this URL that include the source code and also list of all the previous video references and previous video codes that I have recorded so far. So moving further, let me show you how you can install and start using it. So first you need to just follow and clone this repository and then do pip install. And then for the usage, there are two types of usage you can do. You can take it as is for inferencing, or you can also do pre-training when you have larger data for even more broader tasks. So for inferencing, what you need to do, we just simply importing this regressor language model with import. Then you have to potentially specify what's going to be the maximum input length of your raw text that you want to do regression. And then you have to provide your fine-tuning examples. As they noted in the paper, with just 500 examples, you can fine-tune it on your tasks, which is great. So obviously the more the better, but that's a rule of thumb that I got from the paper. Now, with having your examples at core.example, let's say here's my raw text data hello, and the regression outcome should be 0.3 as an example. Here's another example. So you just keep adding yours, obviously through an iterative approach or much larger. This is just 2 examples they added. Then you start just fine tuning that with these examples, and that's it. And then you start having your input generated as a text here, and then query 1 or query 2 gonna be your predictions because we have 2 input examples here. That's as simple as that. Now the other option is they say that okay, for initial checkpoints that they are releasing, you can do transfer learning. That means you can just pre-train with over large amount of data with your own training data that you have, which are raw text. So here's a pseudocode example that you can follow to utilize their latest checkpoints, then bring your own training data with a huge amount of raw text, and start even further training or do transfer learning, and then do prediction instead of just using those few short examples. Alright, that was all about this video to tell you how you can now do regression using language models, and potentially on some use cases that you have that your training data is just raw text and you find it challenging to convert it to numbers to train a traditional regression model. I think this approach is certainly worth to give it a shot and see if you could beat any traditional regression model, because now you're not going to lose any data. You just keep your raw text as is to make predictions. I hope you found this video helpful. If yes, I would be very thankful if you click on like icon. Make sure you share your thoughts, questions, and comments down in the comment section below, and subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thank you so much.